Good morning, everyone. We're at the Leadsled Spectacular, the Kustom Kemps Leadsled Spectacular in Salina, Kansas, in Oakdale Park. And I want to thank our sponsors for bringing this program to you. It's Bennett Buick GMC. Your complete experience at Bennett makes the difference. And also sponsored by Allpak Battery, your first and last stop for every battery under the sun, bright yellow building on 9th and Pacific in Salina. Now, with me, as you can see already, I don't have to tell you, this is an incredibly beautiful car. And with me is Dennis Sullivan, right, Den? I got the name right.
You got it right.
All right.
You got it.
And where are you from, Dennis?
I'm from Pontiac, Illinois, which is located just about 100 miles straight south of Chicago, right on Old Route 66, which is the main mother road of the highways.
Oh, and I'm going to do that someday. Have you ever done the route?
Well, I've lived on it all my life, but my brother went from Chicago all the way to California last year on the whole route. Took him 2 weeks.
Oh, how sweet.
It's a beautiful trip.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful trip.
Let me know about this incredibly beautiful car. When did you first get it?
I bought the car in 1978 in Coal City, Illinois, which is located halfway between Pontiac and Chicago, right on I-55. And I took the car home, put it in storage, and started buying parts for it. And I knew someday I was going to build the car, and I needed some extra parts to put on it because I got a lot of custom parts on this car.
Yeah.
And we'll go through them here in a minute.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I bought the car in '78, put it in storage for about 30 years. And when I got everything gathered up that I wanted to put on it, then I got it out, changed the motor, changed the transmission, put air conditioning in it, put air ride on it, and I drove it for 2 years. Then we put a paint job on it, and we put interior in it. So,
well, it's just now. Obviously, you had a vision on this this car. Tell me how that came to be. I mean, you know, it's so unique and so beautiful.
Well, I love custom cars.
I do too.
That's
Yeah.
where my heart is in custom cars. Anyway, so I knew I was going to build me a custom Mercury, and I had a lot of vision for the different pieces that I want on it. We'll
Right.
go over the car, and I'll show
Okay.
you some of the pieces.
Okay.
The front bumper is a 49 Mercury.
Uh-huh.
The crossover on top of the front bumper, that's for a 55 Chevy station wagon rear bumper. The grill, is out of a 53 DeSoto.
Okay.
These little items here,
Right.
they're off of a 65 T-Bird.
Oh my gosh, you'd have thought.
Okay, we'll move back just a little bit. This piece of stainless right here is off of a 53 Buick. Goes all the way back and is molded into the car.
Oh, and it's perfect.
Yes.
Absolutely perfect.
This piece of stainless right here
Uh-huh.
is off of a 55 Pontiac two-door.
Well, how did you know that all these
Pieces would work.
Would work, yeah.
I've been going to custom car shows my whole life, and I had this car at home knowing that I was going to build this
My gosh.
most spectacular car.
Yeah, it is.
And so I knew what pieces to buy and where to put them and how to do it. Now, just like this piece of stainless right here,
Yeah.
to put that piece of stainless on, you have to move that hump forward on the door 4 inches to put that on.
Good Lord.
Yes.
And did you do all this work yourself?
90% of it. I did not paint it. My boss, I work at a place called the Kustom Shop
Yeah.
in Flanagan, Illinois.
Yeah.
And my boss painted it for me.
Ah,
And he's a tremendous painter.
obviously.
There's 26 colors in the paint job.
Oh my gosh.
And let's move back a little bit farther
Sure.
on the car.
Sure. Can you follow us there all right, Brian? Okay,
good?
he says
Okay.
good. Okay.
The fender skirts are off of a 49 Mercury. The back glass is out of a 49 Mercury. It's a 3-piece back glass, which they made them. There was an option to have a 3-piece back glass in 49 or a 1-piece back glass, and I got the 3-piece.
Was it hard to find?
It was hard to find.
Yeah, I'll bet
it was hard to
was.
find.
Yeah.
This item up here on the roof, that's out of a 58 Chevy Impala.
Who'd have thought?
They only made that 1 year, and they made it in the 58 Chevy Impala, not the Biscayne.
I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen it. Now
Yes.
that you
Yes.
pointed it out, yes. I did.
Inside of that, I have a right turn signal, a left turn signal, and a brake light. So when I step on my brake lights,
It lights up.
It lights up.
That's too cool.
Okay, let's go back a little farther.
Okay.
Now we're getting to the good stuff.
All right. Good.
The taillights are out of a 56 Packard.
Uh-huh.
The rear bumper over crossover is out of a 53 Kaiser.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Oh my God, and it fits absolutely perfect.
Yep. And then we're going to go back up to the front of the car
Okay.
here. If you see in the interior of the car,
Yeah.
the complete interior of the car is out of a 65 T-Bird.
Who'd have thought? My Lord, that is just absolutely phenomenal.
The car has a 350 Chevy motor in it. It has a 5-speed transmission out of a 85 Firebird. Standard transmission, has 5 forward speeds, 1 reverse. The dash is out of a 49 Mercury. Has VDO gauges in it. The center console is out of a 64 Ford Galaxy 500. And then the rear console is handmade, I made myself.
Oh my God, that's just incredible.
Yep.
Well, Dennis, how long did this project take you?
Well, I built the car 5 years ago with all the mechanicals. I put the new motor in, the new transmission, the air ride, the air conditioning, did all the mechanical stuff to it. Then I drove it for a couple of years. Then I took it back in the shop on June the 4th. We put it back in the shop and brought it out on November the 18th.
Gosh, it's just absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving us some time. I really appreciate it.
Okay, no problem. It's my pleasure.
And we'll be back with another car in just a moment. Now we're with Sean Fisher, local man here in the Salina area, and we're at, of course, as you know, the Kustom Kemps of America car show. Sean, where do we start? I don't know. Tell me about this car. When did you get it?
Well, I got it from original owner out in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, about 20 years ago, and pretty much kept it all original. They didn't build very many of these. They
didn't.
They originally scheduled to build 500 units to comply with NHRA drag racing for stock eliminator, and they had to have at least 500 units. Well, this was the 29th one down the assembly line, and then about 2 months later, the car went over so well they made another 1,012 of them, but that's still only 1,512 total built, and they wanted to jump into the muscle car game, and these cars were drag raced actually at a serious level when they were new, and they were here and gone within a short amount of time. And that's why
amazing?
a lot of people don't remember them or ever remember seeing them, you know.
Well, how did you find it?
Well, I was actually talking to the gentleman about another car he had for sale, a 1970 AMC Rebel Machine, which is a rare car in itself as well.
Is.
And this car got brought up that he was going to be selling that, and I said, don't sell it, I'll come get it. And I traveled 1,450 miles to go out and get it. And so, yeah, and it's been a neat car, you know.
Well, how much work did you have to put into it?
Oh, just try to keep it correct with all the things you can get. It's hard to buy parts for these because they don't reproduce anything really for them. Just keep it waxed, keep the interior nice, you know, and the dash pad needs to be replaced. You can't even buy one of those, so it has to be sent off to a specialty place called Just Dashes. You just can't buy anything for these cars. But it's got the original red line tires that it came with on it, and everything under the hood's original. And these were all 4-speed cars. They made no automatics. They were just stick shift only. And the hook scoop is factory, the paint job, everything on it, just the way it came. So.
How many horsepower does it deliver?
This was rated at 315 horse, but it was more than that. But they rated them at 315. But you know, light car, the pretty good motor and 4-speed. They ran good.
Oh yeah.
You know,
do you race it?
No. I pamper it. I actually drive it pretty easy, and because it'd be a shame to break any parts on it. You know.
Because like you said, you couldn't find them if you wanted to.
No. But I lean in a little bit, but I don't abuse it at all, you know. But I've got other cars around the house I can do that with, so I leave this one alone and don't be too rough on it and stuff. So, and actually, an odd thing is there's 2 of these cars in the Salina area, 2 other ones, and one is owned still by the original owner that bought it new in Liberal, Kansas, and he sold it in the late 70s and bought it back and still has it. And then his other brother bought it from his other brother. There was 3 brothers. And so he's the second owner of his Scrambler, and they're all with this A paint scheme. So it's kind of neat that there's actually 3 of these in a 20-mile area.
That's amazing, frankly.
Yeah.
Well,
so.
thank you very much
Oh,
for
yeah.
talking to
No
us. You know,
problem.
it's good to see something unique and standard with all these custom cars around. And,
Yeah, this was custom before it left the factory,
That's
actually,
right.
so it fits in a little bit.
Yes,
you know?
it does.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
No problem.
Now we're with the Butch Patrick of the Munsters. He's grown up just slightly since then, if you haven't noticed. But anyway, Butch, that program was incredibly popular. How long was the run on that show?
2 years, believe it or not.
2 years, and a lot of fun. How old were you when that was running?
11 and 12.
Oh my gosh! And now, of course, you had to go through the process of rehearsals and that sort of things. And how'd you get the part?
Well, actually, you know, it's funny about that. I had done a series called The Real McCoys for a year, and I did a series called General Hospital for a year prior to the Munsters. But I was living in Illinois, and they had actually cast it, and at the last minute they decided to bring in Yvonne DiCarlo to replace a woman named Joan Marshall, and then they brought in me from Illinois for a screen test. I didn't even have to go on an interview.
Oh my gosh!
They hired me on the spot, so it was kind of just fate.
Doesn't get any better than that. Hey, tell me about these two cars, because they're icons of television history. And
yep, these are the Munster Coach and Dragula tribute vehicles. George Barris created the originals, and we were the first sitcom to have cool hot rods as family vehicles, which was kind of neat. The Munsters had a lot of, we were the first to do a lot of neat stuff, but the cars were like iconic, and I bought these tribute cars a few years ago because I'm a gearhead, and I love traveling the country and doing car-related events.
Well, it's incredible. I mean, you know, one of the fun parts about this is everybody's so friendly. You notice that when they come up and talk? And
well, you know, it's a combination of not only the people that enjoy the 60s, they enjoy the Munsters, and they enjoy hot rods. So I'm like triply blessed.
Yeah, you really are. Well, thank you very much for talking to us. We appreciate it, and have a good time while you're here at the Leadsled Spectacular.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You bet. Well, hi, we're here again with John Saunders. Did I get that?
Saunders.
Oh, I was close. First time I made a mistake. Doggone it, Saunders, John Saunders. And John, where did you come in from?
I come in from a suburb town of Kansas City called DeSoto, Kansas.
And this car behind me, I insulted John because I came up before we started taping, and I says, oh, that's a nice rat rod. And he abruptly explained that no, this is not a rat rod. So I'm going to let John explain exactly what this car is so we can educate you people when you come to the car show.
Well, this car is what you call a survivor. It's actually a car that was a hot rod back, I don't even know at what time period, but by the way things were done, I'd say probably in the 50s. And I found the body actually in California. I go out there usually once a year, and some guys that are kind of in this business on 32 Fords was putting this thing back together. It had been sitting outside in the elements, and it was in pretty sad shape. And they kind of rejuvenated it. It was channeled where the body set down over the frame, and they raised it all back up. But they left the exterior of the car all the same. And you can still see the remnants of the white paint on it, and then there's turquoise. So they painted it white first and then put the turquoise over the top to kind of give it a little bit of bing, you know, in the color. Yeah. And so, but it was actually an old Survivor hot rod from the 50s out of California. And then I had another 32 Ford chassis that I used, and then put a Ford flathead in it with a 39 transmission and a 40 rear end, and put it all together with hydraulic brakes like they would have done back in then, and I've kept everything pretty much time period correct.
How did you find this?
Well, I was at the Los Angeles Roadster Show. It's on Father's Day weekend every year, and these two guys called the Kennedy brothers, and they wheel and deal a lot in these kind of cars. And I'd been looking for a roadster body for a long time. 32 roadsters are really hard to find, especially in the Midwest.
Oh, yeah.
They were more prevalent in the southern states or in the West Coast.
Yeah, well, they're convertibles.
Yeah, and they didn't sell a lot of them.
Yeah.
That was Depression time era, and people were a little more practical when they bought a car.
Yeah, you're right.
Usually they bought a sedan where they could take the whole family with them.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is it took me about 6 years to find a roadster body. And when they told me what they were doing, I go, well, that's exactly what I'm after. So I met them later on that afternoon at their shop. They were setting up at the swap meet. They have a big swap meet out there. And then I made the deal with them while I was there.
How long did it take you to get it where you wanted it?
I spent 3 years accumulating the parts to make it match. Like the hood came from off of eBay or Ford Barn or somewhere. I don't remember where I found that, and a grill shell somewhere else. But when you look at it, it pretty much all matches the car.
Oh, it does.
And you don't even realize that they're not the same sheet metal parts.
No, you have no
But the whole
idea.
car, even the frame, you can look at it and you'll see some matching colors that match the body to the hood.
Yeah.
See that green
Yeah,
here
you
and
sure
here,
can.
and then
Yeah.
that red primer looking stuff down there. I didn't put that on there.
I'll be
I mean,
darned.
it's almost like it came off of
Yeah,
this.
it does. It looks exactly
It's
like
just
it.
amazing. I got lucky on that.
Yeah, you sure did.
Because it's really hard to fake.
Well, and
real-
when you
real stuff.
when you bought that, you had you seen you
Not
actually
in person.
not in person,
Not
so
in
you
person.
didn't
I
know.
just went by pictures. I
Yeah.
go, wow.
So who
that
knew?
thing, yeah, I know. So it's kind of amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's a fun car. It's
Yeah.
very unique.
It's
just
very unusual.
Yeah, it
It's
really
to
is.
find one like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you for talking
Yeah.
to us and tell us about your car, and we
Yeah.
hope you have a good show.
Thank
and
you. Yeah, this
thanks a
is
lot.
about our. I don't know. I think we've been to all of them except maybe one. 'Cause our mom still lives here, and my
Yeah.
brother lives in Manhattan, and he comes out with his '36 Ford. So
Make it a family affair.
yeah.
Well, that's good.
And always go to the Cozy Inn too.
Oh, absolutely. I have an addiction for those.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for talking to
So
us.
thank you.
That's it, folks. Thank you for watching. It's been sponsored by Bennett Buick GMC. Come experience the Bennett difference. And also, and they're one of our corporate sponsors, it's also sponsored in part by Allpak Battery, your first and last stop for every battery under the sun in the bright yellow building on 9th and Pacific in Salina. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be doing this again next year.